Google was a late entrant into search. So there were plenty of search engines. There was Ask Jeeves, Alta Vista, there was probably 6 others that weren't alive when you guys weren't born, probably, when these were operating on the internet, the early search engines. They weren't very good. So a couple of guys from Stanford in their garage came up with a completely different method of working out how to come up with search results based on what other people found useful in their search results. Prior to Google coming, what happened was search engines literally looked at individual websites and tried to classify them. So Google's technological breakthrough was just to say that's the wrong way of doing it. Let's rather work out, one person searched for this term, they've found this link or this other link useful because they've clicked on those links and spent time on there. Okay, so that says the next person who searches for that same term, maybe we'll put those links higher up because they're probably useful for that person too. So using data properly. And that's why Google came to dominate search, because they had a better product. The other search engines have died. Bing has come along as really the only viable alternative. Yahoo's the only one of the originals that still survives. So is Google a problem? 80+% of search, certainly in Australia and Europe, and in the US it's slightly less than in Australia and Europe, but still massively dominant. Is that a problem? Well, Google came out of left field, better technology, wiped out the incumbents, has taken control. So is somebody able to do that with Google? And the answer is we don't know. And so we can say, look, Google's a problem because at the moment it's making considerable profit. It's a dominant firm. But if you're saying its dominance is long-term, that there's something there that's going to make Google be, in 20 years' time, we're still going to be saying, God, Google's dominant. You search, you go through Google. You want to advertise on the internet, you go through Google, through AdWords, which is owned by Google. If that's the situation, there's a problem. But if in 20 years' time we say, who's Google? Oh yeah, that's right, I used to use Google. Yeah, God, that was useless. Now we use whatever. Then it's less of a problem. And the answer is we just don't know. There's arguments about feedback loops, so Google gets more data, gets more information on searches, that enables it to improve its searches. So there's one stream of economics that says, look, that feedback loop means Google will be dominant. There's another that says, well, actually, it's not another search engine that's going to beat Google, not another traditional search engine, it's something coming out of left field. So in the States, in particular, if you want to search for something, for a retail product, you don't go to Google, you go to Amazon. And Amazon is a search engine. It also happens to sell products. It also happens to have just a huge number of retailers that work through the Amazon website. So if you're buying stuff online in the US, Amazon gets more hits, not Google. So does that mean that we don't have to worry about Google because Amazon's going to come out of left field? Well, Amazon's another big platform. So the answer again is that we just don't know. We need to, and in such a situation, I think the best thing the regulators can do is sort of say, well, let's sit back. If there are things around the edges that are clearly anti-competitive, where platforms, whether it's Google, Hotels.com or Bookings.com as the big online travel agent platforms, they've been hit on some of the contractual terms they had because they looked like they were going into areas which may lead them to maintain dominance rather than just competing fairly. Those sort of things, act around the edges, make sure that you can allow innovation to occur, but at the same time, you don't want the competition regulators, and potentially Europe's heading in this direction to sort of say, well, we're worried about Google or the other big platforms and we're going to design the market. We're going to go in there and put our judgment there instead of allowing the market to work it out. So that's an ongoing debate. It's really going to be one that dominates competition economics for at least the next 10 years.